Sì. I would like to ask you, Mr. Aldrin, there are two quotes your character says in the movie, which is the one first that you can't remember, when down to earth, you can't remember how it is when you were up there. And I would like this is true, still again. And the second quote is that you quoted Jesus Christ when you arrived on the moon, and the one who brings a lot of fruit remains with me, and so I would like to know something about this too. Thank you.
I don't really remember saying I don't know what it was like. I know quite well what it was like and where we were. And what was going through our mind was the result of years of selection as an astronaut, the training that we're involved in, the gradual buildup of achievement throughout my first space flight, and being in the right place many times at the right time, being a part of a team that involves some extremely talented people, very capable, and being a part of that and trying to carry things out to the best of my ability. And all the tension, all the anticipation and everything that became gradually stored up within us was absorbed, and then at a particular moment of putting a foot somewhere, that's the background that I had to whatever feelings I would have after that. Now, how can I possibly communicate all of that background to somebody who's thought about it for 10 minutes or so? And what simpler question can you possibly ask? What was it like? My word, books have been written about what it was like, what it's like there. We're pilots, we're operators, we're not communicators of feelings. If NASA wanted us to go there, to come back to tell you what the feeling was like, we would have concocted all sorts of favorable things. I can try and tell you what you might like to hear, and it wasn't that I was afraid, and it wasn't that I was subdued. I was awed by the situation. All of us were very awed by being there, and it was just natural for me to combine a contrasting pair of words. It wasn't what I would say a beautiful sight. That doesn't capture. It was magnificent. Why? Because of human achievement throughout the ages to progress to a point where an object that has been up in the sky, confusing people and then giving them more insight to what our lives and world is really about. And they've been dreaming about that moon, that object up there. And all of a sudden, the creatures here on Earth have put together the capability with automobiles, airplanes, rockets, spacecraft, to be able to understand all the intricacies, to be able to put a spacecraft and support the lives of creatures who are going to land. And that is a magnificent achievement. And I really can't think of too many words of praise for humanity's progress to have gotten to that point. But I also can't think of any place that I've ever seen that is more desolate and totally lifeless than the smoothest spot that NASA could pick for that first safest landing. And you may compare it to different other places, but then the thought is in your mind, how long has it looked just like this? Yesterday? Yeah. It's illuminated for 13 and a half days with the sun crossing over, and then it's totally dark. And this has great effects on it, but it is timeless, except for the impacts here and there, and there certainly wasn't any evidence of anything within the last 100,000 years, except very small things that grind that dust into very sharp molten spheres of glass that fracture, and it's a very sharp dust. It's never worn by flowing water. It's never rounded. It's never rounded by winds blowing soil, or all the things that happen to organic soil here. It's just totally different. The colors are all the same, just shades of gray and a black sky. See, I can come up with wonderful flowery words of what I saw. And what I thought, I'm awed by this. It's surreal, and yet I fully know that this is real. We are there, and we're given a tremendous responsibility to behave as inquisitive explorers, carrying out the instructions that many people in the team have given us to the very best of our ability. And if you can't understand what that makes you feel like, then try going there yourself.
What about the quote about Jesus?
No,
There was another question about the quote about Jesus.
Yeah,